Okay, so I absolutely love Triple H's NXT. As far as I'm concerned, at its peak, it was the best that wrestling had to offer at the time, and the takeover events were always a must-see. Today I thought it would be fun to take a look back at the origins of the Full Sail version of NXT. For this, we are heading all the way back to June 2012 to review the first episode under the management of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Let's get into it. There's a short promo package for the opening of the show. Superstars featured in it include a young Seth Rollins, Curtis Axel, Jason Jordan, Chris Hero and Paige among others. The narrator tells us that NXT is the gateway to the future, and the future begins right now. The show's opening then plays out with some generic metal song behind it. It's not the worst theme I've ever heard, but it's a bit bland if I'm being honest. It kinda sounds like a royalty-free metal song. William Regal welcomes us to the show on commentary to Full Sail University for the first episode of NXT. Jim Ross then takes to the stage to introduce our interim NXT General Manager, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Dusty then cuts a quick speech for the first episode of NXT and announces our main event between Tyson Kidd and Michael McGillicuddy, or you might know him better as Curtis Axel.
Axelmania is running wild!
JR then says let's take a look at one of the new stars debuting here tonight. Bo Dallas then appears on our screen and cuts a pretty lackluster promo if I'm being honest. I understand this is developmental, so I suppose we got to let him off there. We find out that his debut match on NXT is coming up next. All I'm going to say is this promo and persona makes his Bo Leave gimmick seem immense in comparison. Time for our first match of the night. Bo's opponent for this evening's first bout is former Ascension member Victor. Remember those guys? He's going under the name Rick Victor here. William Regal informs us that Rick Victor was actually the last person to come up through the Heart Dungeon in Calgary apparently. Just thought it was an interesting fact to throw in there. This match was good, both guys can hold their own in the ring, that's for sure. Bo hits a power slam on Victor, followed by a spear to get a 3 count and the victory. After the match, generic interviewer 01 asked Bo for some words after his victory on the debut NXT. Bo cuts a way more upbeat promo this time. He wants everybody to remember this smile because it ain't the last time you're going to see it. Keep watching because you will know Bo. Woo! Seth Rollins gets a teaser promo then for his debut on the brand the following week. Watching young Rollins cut this promo whilst a highlight reel of his moves play out in the background, it's not hard to see why the guy turned out to be one of the company's top stars in the future. The intellectual saviour of the masses, Damien Sandow, is up next. For a second, I thought that was Mike Knox. He's going up in a match against former American Alpha member and Kurt Angle's son, Jason Jordan. Before the match starts, Sandow says that he is here to help all of the crowd tonight. I saw it be fitting of good form to come out and address you all personally. However, it is extremely bad form that I am pitted against an unworthy opponent. He cannot and will not face this ignoramus here this evening. Sandow then exits the arena. Okay, thanks for that, Sandow. The Ascension cut a promo on top of some scaffolding above a city. Well, not really, it's a shitty green screen to be fair. First off, I had no idea that the Ascension was a thing before 2014, and didn't realise that Victor wasn't an original member. Here we see Connor and Kenneth Cameron, who was married to Charlotte Flair for a couple of years apparently. Connor says, "We are the gateways of the future. We are the Ascension, and we will rise." He then laughs manically but stops all of a sudden out of nowhere. What the fuck was that all about? It's like Kenneth dropped his guts and Connor smelt it all of a sudden. Ascension make their way to the ring for their tag team match against Mike Dalton and CJ Parker, aka Juice Robinson. As you can imagine, the Ascension beat the shit out of these two in pretty quick time. Ascension hit their tag team finisher, which is a bit meh, and get the win. I like how Mike Dalton didn't even get taken out. He just jumped off the apron and was like, nah, I'm not stopping these guys.
Is it my eyes when you look at me? They are so gorgeous, they'll set you free.
EC3 is looking for Johnny Curtis, aka Fandango, in the toilet backstage. Apparently, the toilet is Johnny's office. I have no fucking idea, don't ask. This segment is hella weird. I mean, all it is basically is them two discussing the match they're going to have next week. There's like a weird, almost sexual tension to the segment. From this segment, I have no clue what fucking Johnny Curtis's gimmick is supposed to be. Anyway, moving on. Main event time. Curtis Axel and Tyson Kidd make their way to the squared circle. This match was a fairly even contest between two competent wrestlers. I was particularly impressed by Kidd's performance in this match. I only got to see Tyson wrestle for a couple of years as a tag team with Cesaro, which I loved, before he sadly had to retire. Toward the end of the match, Tyson is being beaten down for a considerable amount of time and is visibly struggling. Axel hangs Kidd up on the ropes and goes to baseball kick him in the head, but Kidd sits up and Axel hits his bollocks on the ring post. Tyson then hits Axel with a devastating series of kicks, but only gets a 2 count. Kidd then goes to hit a springboard move, but Axel drop kicks him mid-flight. Axel goes for a cover, but only gets 2. A bit later, Tyson is back in control and hits Axel with an impressive moonsault from the top rope. Finally, Kidd locks in a dungeon lock and Axel taps out. And that's how the first episode of Dusty Rhodes NXT played out. I think it was an okay first episode. There were some questionable gimmicks and segments, but it's considered a developmental brand, so I think we can let him off the hook. Let me know any thoughts you have on what you've seen in this episode below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.